Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday celebration of the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Carol Cross, and I'm one of the licensed practitioners here at the center. And it's my honor to uh, ground today's events, starting with meditation. So, this week was the summer solstice. And I always have a little bit of mixed feelings about the summer solstice because even though we say, oh, it's now the start of summer, it also means it's the start of the days having less sunlight. And I like these days full of sunlight. But I really celebrate the spiritual and the energetic power of summer. So, as the Bible says, there's a time for everything. Um, and and we have these waves of different energies as we go through the calendar year. So the great thing about summer is a time where we get to take our feet off the gas pedals. We're coming out of spring, and spring is a time of doing, which we're glad to do because we're coming out of winter where we've been home, alone, isolated. So we love getting back into the physical world and not manifesting, but working, doing stuff, digging up our earth and planting the seeds and doing the fertilizing and watering and weeding and all that kind of stuff, not just physically, but metaphorically. So spring is a time of action and doing. Summer is a time of allowing. It's when we sit back and we allow ourselves to receive. So summer is the time where we're focused on manifesting all of that work that we did in spring and sitting back and gathering and enjoying the fruits of our labor. So that's a great place to be. So that's what we're going to focus our meditation on today. So I ask you to close your eyes, and we want to have a big exhale to blow out all that old energy, blow out that spring energy, blow out all of that dead, used up air. So really deep out breath. And then we have a summer in breath, the bringing in, the receiving, the new, the vibrant. And so what I would like you to do is I'd like you to spend some time reflecting on what seeds have you been planting this past 3 months. So think about how you've been spending your time and your energy and your efforts. And we know that the law works with mechanical regularity. So a farmer doesn't plant corn seeds and then come out and find rutabagas growing. So it's worth some time thinking about what have I been spending my time and energy on this past 3 months? And what is my expectation that how it will manifest in these next 3 months? Because we know that the way the law works, we don't get what we deserve. We get what we expect. So let's expect great things for ourselves based on what we've been doing these past 3 spring months. And we also find that, oops, maybe we planted a seed or two or a field of poison ivy. So this is the time to pull up those seeds and say, nope, that was a mistake. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I don't want any of this coming up for me. So we'll just have some beautiful music as we reflect on the past 3 months and set our intentions for what we're going to manifest in the coming 3 months. And there's only one way to end the meditation like this, and that's just with extreme gratitude. Gratitude for this magnificent world that we live in that's so beautifully created to have these different seasons, different periods that allows us to act and to receive. Gratitude for the law that always says yes, that once we make our intentions clear, it will provide. Gratitude for all the wonderful things that we've done these past 3 months. Wow. Um, it's amazing to look back and say, wow, look what I did. Good on me. So, summer is also a time for us to acknowledge ourselves and all that we do and all that we are. And then gratitude for the blessings, the manifestations that I know are coming for me, for you, for people who watch this in the future, for our community, for our world. So sit back and enjoy this season of abundance and count your miracles as they come rolling in. So we have, I don't know, but some number of minutes until our official service begins. So go take care of yourself, and we will see everybody back here at 10:15 for the main event. And thank you so much for being with us this morning.
you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Oh
and creativity to create five-course meals. Sit down, five-course meals. Excuse me, little technical difficulty. Little helper. Doesn't work. I sound so loud, but oh yeah, I get it. I get it. That's way better. So, hi, welcome. My name is Tusnam. I'm not starting over. So it can be simple or it can be fancy. It's about the fun. And it's about the joy of being together and making new friends from the community. So whether you're an experienced chef or just a genuine foodie, or you know how to order in some takeout, it's all up to you. In addition to the food, you get to choose some fun activities that go with your event. Some examples are a casual picnic at sunset, an elegant meal with charades, a fun night of bowling, a cooking class, creating some jewelry or some pottery with a lunch that that you're only limited by your imagination and anything can go. Hosts can sponsor more than one event. Perhaps you can cook and your friend has a special talent, so you pair up with a co-host to offer a very distinctive event. So anything can happen. If you have any questions, you can connect with myself or with Heather, and we're going to know that we're going to have some really amazing events. To avoid scheduling two events on the same date and time, please submit, when you fill out that registration form, please submit like 3 of your most popular dates to host the event, if possible, like first come, first serve out of the choices that you have. So please know Tuesdays or Wednesday nights, those are typically classes and also our Wednesday night service. And secure your event date now. Remember, today, maybe tomorrow, is the last day you can sign up for this. Did Heather hear me say that? We will be creating a booklet and an opportunity to participate in a silent auction to sign up for the events. So now what happens is on July 1st, you will receive another email from us, which will have this little booklet of all the events, and we'll walk you through signing up for the ones that you want to participate in. You make a bid, and at the end of July 23rd, we will be looking at those and taking, if there's 8 seats for a particular event, we'll look for the top 8 bids. So if you know there is something you really want to do and you think that it might be a real crowd pleaser, the invitation is to bid high so that you can go. The events will take place from August 11th through November 15th, and I'm telling you, it is so much fun. So our flowers, look at these absolutely gorgeous flowers that Heather got for us today. So our flowers are dedicated to the meditation retreat facilitation team, which includes Heather Abbott, Mary Ann Hardy, Carol Cross, Susan Robinson, and Vincent Jenna, and Brianne Staggs. Now, through their consciousness and their love of this community and their dedication, we created an amazing container which allowed everyone that attended the retreat to go deep within a number of different meditation styles and different experiences throughout the weekend. Arriving early and staying late, they generously gave of their time, their talent, and their treasure. It takes a village to facilitate an entire weekend experience such as this, and this was the right and perfect team to be doing so this year. I'm so appreciative of each and every single one of them as they brought their own unique light to their own sessions and also contributed to the success of the entire experience. I'm so grateful to all of them and, of course, for everyone who attended. The bottom line truth is that we all, facilitators and participants alike, together made it an amazing experience. I love you all. So, speaking of Carol Cross, I'd like to thank her very much for her lovely meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within today. And speaking of her, please welcome her back to the podium.
Hello, everyone. Our theme for the year 2023 is Living Out Loud. Our theme for the month of June is Embracing Self Care. Reverend Dusty's title today is Personalizing the Infinite. Mm. I'm going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of the oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on this planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. All right, so it's time for us to center ourselves. So I ask that you close your eyes, turn within, and allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you. So now it's time to leave Mount Shasta and return to our everyday life. Open your eyes because you don't want to miss this next part. It's our wonderful blessings of all faiths. And I'd like to ask Heather and Tom to come up and support me in this. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you all so much. All right. So now I would ask, if you feel comfortable, to close your outer eyes while I say a word of blessing on today's divine event. And turning within, I see this shimmering, glistening power and presence that is the divine. It is that inflates me, upholds me, fills this material container that I have and I enjoy. But I know the truth of who and what I am is this ineffable presence within. And it is an energy of unconditional love, of peace, of wisdom, of joy, of connection. And so I breathe that in because sometimes I forget. And that's why we come together in these events, is to remember. So I know this truth about me, and I know that this is the truth of everyone. Everyone in the room, everyone on the other side of our telecommunications, everyone in our community, everyone in our world, every atom, every creature, every light wave, all of it is this same magical, cosmic, divine stuff. And what a glorious place to live from. So, knowing this truth, I say a word of blessing. I say a word of blessing to all the volunteers who came early or will stay late and will count money and do all these things that you don't see on camera, but we could not do this without them. I say a word of blessing on our newly abundant AV team with Heather and Ava and Martin. So yay, yay for that. Gives Heather a chance to do something else, like come do the blessings of all faith. So we celebrate that. I say a word of blessing on a woman whose music always moves me. And I know, because we're all connected, that that's true for each and every one of us. Some of us just show it more than others, maybe. So knowing that she will touch our hearts with our music, I say a word of blessing on Karen Daly. And most of all, I say a word of blessing on our rainbow Reverend Dusty, who You know, she is like this beautiful, colorful arc between what is and what could be. And so we love her so much for that. And I know we cannot wait to hear the words of wisdom that she will um, give to us today. And most of all, I say a word of blessing for everyone who participates in this service in whatever way, here in the room, at home, via telecommunications, in the future. It is an energetic event. And all of these individual faces of God are part of the dance of the divine that is happening today. So thank you, each and every one of you. Your contributions are important, and we love you for that. So, what can I say? Today is a good God day. So, I turn this over to the law that always says yes and ask you to support me in affirming this with our words, and so it is. Okay. The reading for today is from Reverend Roger Teal, and he says, as we make welcome higher ideas, we are equipped to put our unique personal spin on them. Yet they flow to us from that immense intelligence at the heart of this universe. As individualized expressions of spirit, of love intelligence, each of us lives within an infinite ocean of possibility. At any moment, we are open to, receive, and cultivate a transformative idea beyond anything we have ever realized before. Oof, I know. That's going to be a good talk. But, of course, we don't want to get to the main event before we have our appetizers. So I ask you to join me in welcoming the angel of the guitar, our beloved Karen Daly.
Thank you, Carol. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a little fiddle. Like, I don't know, Andy would have something to say about that, I think. So when Dusty approached me about picking songs, she said to pick things that reminded me of how I connected to spirit. And so two things came to mind were nature and allowing. And I can't tell you how many trees I hugged at the retreat a couple weeks ago. So I've had my infusion of nature. But this is a song called There Is a Cloud by the Elevation Workshop. Hear the word. Nope, I'm going to do that again. Doing a little Stevie Nicks. Hear the word roaring as thunder with a new future to tell. For the dry season is over, and there's a cloud beginning to swell. Look to the skies heavy with blessing. Lift your eyes and offer your heart. You alone can open the heavens and receive the Spirit of God. We receive your rain. We receive your rain. Every seed buried in sorrow, you will call forth in its time. You are Lord, Lord of the harvest, calling home now to arise. And we receive your rain. We receive your rain. We receive your rain like a flood. It's like a flood. We receive your love when you come like a flood. It's like a flood. And we receive your love when you come. And with great anticipation, we await the promise to come. Every word that you have spoken will come to pass. Let it be done. We receive your rain. We receive your rain. We receive your rain. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you so very much, Karen. That was absolutely amazing. I'm a little tempted to just order up a second appetizer and skip the entree altogether. So, Ralph Waldo Trine, in his book, In Tune with the Infinite, tells a story about a friend of his. And apparently, this friend has a lotus pond in a very natural basin on his farm. It's supplied with water from a reservoir that is in the foothills of some mountains that are a little distance away. A gate regulates the to the pond. It's a spot of transcendent beauty. During the perfect summer weather, the lotus flowers thrive. They're full blown, sitting on the surface of the water, that clear, transparent water. Transcendent, beautiful. Roses and other wildflowers bloom along the banks of this pond. Birds and bees and other animals come to drink, and they come to eat the many varieties of wild berries that grow just behind the pond as far as the eye can see. Now, his friend is a very kind, compassionate, God-loving man who welcomes everything and everybody to the area with a sign that is located at the end of a very beautiful path that winds itself through these wild woods that lead up to this enchanted spot. And the sign says, "All are welcome to the lotus pond." Now, many people come. They're perhaps tired and weary, and they leave with a very different expression on their face. Their spirits have been lifted merely by being there. Many speak of the spot as the garden of God, but his friend simply calls it his soul's garden. And he spends many hours in the quiet there. Everything in the immediate vicinity seems to breathe with a spirit of kindness, of goodwill, of comfort, and of peace. The gate of the pond is always wide open, enough to admit a supply of water that is so abundant that it continually overflows a quantity that is sufficient to bring enough water to feed a stream that runs through the fields below, giving pure mountain water to the cattle that graze on those fields. The story continues to tell us that there was a year when his friend had to be absent from the area. So he rented his estate during this absence to a man who was very practical and had no time for anything that did not bring him direct practical results. On his watch, the gate connecting the reservoir with the lotus pond was shut down. And because of this, the pond was no longer supplied by this pure, crystal clear water from the reservoir. It no longer had the opportunity to feed the birds and the other animals that were around, or to water the plants along the shores. It had no opportunity to overflow that water to the surrounding fields. The notice that said, "All are welcome to the lotus pond," was removed, and no longer were men or women or children seen at the pond. A great change came over everything. On account of the lack of the life-giving water, the lotus flowers in the pond wilted and died, and their stems were stretched out along the bottom of the pond in the mud. The fish that formerly swam in its clear, cool water soon died, and they gave off an offensive odor to anyone who happened to come by the pond. The flowers no longer bloomed along the banks. The birds no longer came to drink, and the bees no longer hummed. Even more, the stream that ran through the fields below dried up, and the cattle no longer got their crystal clear water. Now, the difference between the lotus pond and the surrounding environment when his friend was there giving the area his full attention, and the lotus pond and the surrounding water when the gate was shut down, preventing the water from the reservoir to reach the pond, was evident and very significant. The source of life was shut off, and because of that, not only did the appearance of the lotus pond change dramatically, but the surrounding fields, flowers, birds, bees, and cattle were deprived of that clear, cool water. Now, my guess is that it's not too much of a stretch to see the parallel with our own human lives. In the degree that we recognize our oneness, our connection with the infinite spirit, which is the life of all, and in the degree that we open ourselves to that divine inflow, do we come into harmony with the highest, the most powerful, and the most beautiful anywhere. And to the degree that we do this, do we overflow so that all who come into contact receive the effects of the realization on our part? This is our life in the hands of Ralph's friend. And to the degree that we fail to recognize our oneness with this infinite source, and so close ourselves off from this divine inflow, do we seem to experience nothing of good, nothing of power, nothing of beauty. And when this is true, those who come in contact with us receive the same. Nothing good, nothing powerful, nothing beautiful. This is our life in the hands of the tenant. Now, while it is a beautiful metaphor, there's a big difference between the lotus pond and our lives. Right? The lotus pond has no power in and of itself to open the gates to the inflow of the water from the reservoir, or to close it for that matter, which is its source. It has no ability to do that. It is helpless, and it's dependent upon an outside agency to either open or close that gate. For each of us, however, we have the power. We have the power within us to open or to close ourselves off from this divine inflow. We have a choice in the matter. We have the power to either open ourselves up or to close ourselves off in exactly the manner that we choose to do so. Now, my talk title this morning is Personalizing the Infinite. Now, science tells us that we live in a universe where nothing is ever lost. That the energy that makes up the universe is constant. It might look a little bit different, but it's constant. It never runs out. Spiritually, we know that the energy of spirit cannot be exhausted. Spiritual energy is like the presence of God itself, infinite, with no beginning and no ending. An infinite energy whose tendency is to be expressed as never-ending possibilities, never-ending love, never-ending joy, never-ending peace, never-ending abundance, never-ending wisdom, never-ending freedom, never-ending beauty, and so much more. Infinite. Personalizing is to make or to alter so as to meet individual needs or inclinations or specifications. It's to endow with personal or individual qualities or characteristics, or to embody in order to represent in invisible form. To embody in order to represent in physical form. Isn't that what we do for God? We embody the divine so that we can represent God in physical form. We are its ambassadors. Personalization is taking ownership of the spiritual power that lies within each and every single one of us. It's taking ownership of that. It's being responsible for taking care of it and for bringing it forward. We have the power within us to personalize the infinite possibilities of the universe and become who we were created to be. We have that power within us. There are infinite possibilities waiting to be tapped in our own unique and individualized way. Everyone can be everything they imagined and more if they knew that they already hold the key to unlocking their good. They already hold the key. What she says. So, what is that key to personalizing the infinite? I have 3 ideas for us this morning. Now, the first is to remember beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are one with the universe, that we are one with God. As a human being, we are an individualized entity, right? We really feel separate and solid and individualized. Despite this, we are a cell within the body of God. We are an integral part of the whole, not separate from, but an integral part of the whole, a cell within the body of God. Being one with the universe is the unity of the physical with the spiritual. In this concept, we realize that we are spirit and that spirit is us. In simple terms, when we become aware that we are one with spirit, we have accepted the idea that we are part of the universe. And we begin to think and to act as the powerful being that we are. When we become aware that we are one with God, with that which created everything that there is, seen and unseen, we know that there is absolutely nothing that can hinder us from becoming the person that we were created to be. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing more powerful than God. We begin to manifest the infinite possibilities that we have only imagined before. The underlying truth is that the power of every life, our own life itself, is determined by what it relates to, by what itself relates to. God is immanent as well as transcendent. Often because we might be spending our time focusing on this belief that we have that we are separate from the divine, then we are perhaps thinking about God or spirit as that absentee landlord. Not there, not present, not taking care of the universe, not taking care of us. However, to the degree that we recognize God as immanent within us and transcendent, are we able to partake of its life and its power. The bottom line is that we live, move, and have our being in God. We have received and will continue to receive our life from this presence within us and surrounding us. That gate is not closed. That gate is always open. We have the power to keep it open or to close it. Think back to the reservoir on the mountain in the original story, right? Imagine that there's another reservoir a little ways away, perhaps down in the valley. And this reservoir receives its supply from that larger reservoir, from the inflow of that larger reservoir. Now, it is also true that the water in this smaller reservoir, right, is in its quality and in its characteristics and in its nature exactly the same as the water in the larger reservoir. There is no difference in the quality. There is a difference, however. And that difference is that the reservoir on the mountainside, that larger reservoir, in the amount of water, so far transcends the reservoir, the smaller reservoir, that it can supply an innumerable number of reservoirs without being exhausted. So it's not in the quality or the essence of that water. It is exactly the same. It is in the quantity or the degree. So if this is true, then to the degree that we open ourselves to this divine inflow, do we become in alignment with God. And to the degree that we become in alignment with God, then we are able to really take on and to express those God qualities. And if the God qualities are unlimited, right, an infinite God with infinite God qualities, if those God qualities are without limit, is it not true that the only limitations that we can possibly experience are ones that we place on ourselves? The quality is the same. The essence is the same. To the degree that we allow that inflow in is the degree in which we will be able to express those God qualities. The second idea is that our thoughts control the personalization of the infinite. So the underlying truth, right, is that the very universe that we live in is the result of the thoughts of God. The infinite spirit that is the creative energy back of everything. And if it's true that we were created in the image and likeness of God, that we are, in a sense, a hologram of it, and to the degree that we come to the realization of this amazing truth, then we too have that same creative power. Ralph Waldo Trine says, everything exists in the unseen before it is manifested or realized in the seen. And in this sense, it is true that the unseen things are the real, while the things that are seen are the unreal. The unseen things are the causes, and the seen things are the effects. The unseen things are the eternal, and the seen things are the changing, the transient. The power of the word is a literal scientific fact. Through the operation of our thought forces, we have creative power. The spoken word is the means by which our thoughts are focused and directed along any particular line. Really, anything from A to Z, creating a mental equivalent in our consciousness. Giving our thoughts direction is necessary before any outward or material manifestation can ever happen. We have to give them direction, right? There's a connection between our thoughts and the great laws of the universe. We are continually attracting to us from both the seen and the unseen forces and conditions that are akin to the type of thoughts that we are having. When we start thinking like the powerful, unlimited being that we are, we will ensure that our thoughts match this belief. And if our thoughts are centered around not being enough or not meeting the standard, we will draw unto ourselves evidence of those thoughts. Our experience of life will show us what we have been thinking about. These thoughts make us see ourselves as less than who we really are, and they only serve to block our good. Put that gate down. The division between body and spirit brings limitations in the manifestation of our infinite potential. The law of attraction works universally on every single plane of existence. And we attract whatever we desire or expect. If we desire one thing and we expect another, we become like houses divided against themselves, which usually causes some havoc, right? Is a problem. The invitation is to determine resolutely to expect only what we desire. And then we will attract only what we wish for. But if we have a desire and what we believe about ourselves, which causes us to expect something, like if we believe we're not worthy, we would expect no good to come out of that. And then what do we get? Not what we desired, what we expected. We have to be singularly focused in our intentions and in our thoughts and in our words in order to personalize the infinite. Now, the third idea is that doubt is detrimental to infinite personalization. When we are set in and grounded, really grounded in the truth that God or divine love resides within us, then we are able to know without a shadow of a doubt that we are here to manifest our deepest desires. Because in truth, our deepest desires are the desires that God has for us, wanting us to experience a really fulfilled life. Why would God not want that for us? And so those desires that you feel that continually keep coming up and coming up, that feel good when we think about them, we might not know how to get them, but they feel really good about them. In all probability, those are God's desires for us first and foremost. And we are simply in that moment saying yes to the whatness of it. Marianne Williamson says to trust in the force that moves the universe is faith. Faith isn't blind, it's visionary. Faith is believing that the universe is on our side and that the universe knows what it is doing. Faith is a psychological awareness of the unfolding force for good constantly at work in all dimensions. So faith is nothing more than the operation of our thoughts in the form of an earnest desire coupled with an expectation of fulfillment. Together. In the degree that faith is continually held to and watered by firm expectation, it will either draw unto itself or it will clothe our expectation and our words in form on the physical plane. Whatever we can have faith in, we may experience according to the law of cause and effect. But remember that the cause and effect cannot say yes to some things and no to other things. It has no idea about, oh, this is a good thing for you to expect, or this is not such a good thing for you to expect. It simply says yes. It simply says yes. It works the same way all of the time for everyone with no exceptions, just like gravity. Let the element of doubt or fear enter in, and what would otherwise be a tremendous force will be so neutralized that it will fail. It will fail to really manifest what it is that you really desire. But again, it's not the fault of the cause and effect. It's not the fault of the law. It's what am I really thinking about? What am I really expecting to have come into existence, right? Our thoughts, continually watered by firm expectations, become a force. They become a drawing power that is irresistible. It's irresistible, and the results will be absolute, and the possibilities infinite. Elimination of doubt is imperative for the personalization of the infinite. This is the great truth in human life. To the degree that we become conscious of our oneness with the infinite and open ourselves to its divine inflow, do we actualize in ourselves the qualities and the powers of the infinite spirit. They're there, but we have to open to them. We have to say yes. We have to allow. We have to be available. When we recognize our true identity, we bring our lives into harmony with the divine spiritual laws and forces and make it possible for the higher powers to have their way with us, to really play and to work and to manifest through and as us. When we know ourselves as merely as human beings, we live accordingly and have the powers of human beings. When we come to the realization of the fact that we are divine emanations of God, then again we act accordingly and we have the power of God. To the degree that we open ourselves to this divine inflow, our lives are forever changed. Embracing this truth empowers us to act as what we know ourselves to be and allow spirit to lead our human experience. Understanding that we are infinite. We are infinite, infinite possibilities, infinite love, infinite peace, infinite joy, infinite abundance, infinite wisdom, infinite freedom, infinite beauty, and so much more. And so it is. And so it is. So I invite everyone to turn within for a moment of prayer, allowing ourselves to turn away from that world of form, to turn our attention and our focus to the center of our being, to that space and place that I call God, that is the spark of the divine within us, imminent. Knowing that not only is it swimming in us, but we are swimming in it, that is within us and all around us. There is no escaping this presence except of our own human volition. We are connected to it in ways that can never, ever, ever be broken. It is who and what we are at our very core. This is the truth of each and every single one of us, with absolutely no exception, all sentient beings on the planet. And it's from that place of unity, this deep and abiding connection that we have with the divine and that we have with life and that we have with each other, that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that there is a very powerful way of living our lives. A way in which all we have to do is to align ourselves with the divinity that is within us, to recognize our oneness with it, to really own it, and to live our lives from that context. It is simple, not always easy, but it is simple. We are one with God. There is no changing that. And as we really come into our own with that realization, with that understanding, with that dedication, with that singular focus, do we change our lives in really wonderful and powerful ways. And so I claim ease and grace for us around really owning that for ourselves. Tapping into the community when we're struggling to remember it on our own, and getting some assistance because we can remind each other. It's truly the purpose of community, with a little fun and laughter and joy within it. But it is our purpose to remind each other who we are when we begin to forget. And so I know that this community can do that for each other. And when we do, that gate is open, full open, and the inflow of God flows in and through us to the point of it spilling out of us and touching everyone in our presence, filling them up with that cool, clear water, that water of life itself. And as we do so, one individualized consciousness at a time, we become stronger and more powerful and more able to work together to really create a world that works for everyone. And I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and I release them with gratitude, with love, and with full expectation of their manifestation, letting go and letting God be God. And I invite each of us to anchor these words for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world simply by saying, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. It's now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is a time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light, of warmth, and of love in the greater Triangle area. Together, we affirm that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the experience of sufficiency on the planet. There are 3 different ways that you can give. They're here on your screen or on your screen at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you can mail your gift to our office. The address is PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. I invite everyone to please place your hand on your heart with your gift or with an intention for yourself or for the community, and say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. That blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you all so very, very much for your gifts. And as the baskets are being passed around, please welcome back up to the stage the amazingly talented and beautiful Karen Daly.
Thank you, Dusty. Whew, that was a good one. This last song is just a groovy little tune by Bob Sima called Kiss God. When no one is looking, I swallow deserts and clouds. I chew on the mountains, 'cause I know they are sweet bones. When no one is looking, I sip from the cool summer skies. I savor the blueness, and it colors my eyes. When no one is looking, I wanna kiss God. When no one is looking, I wanna kiss God. So I lift up my own hand to my mouth. When no one is looking, I call forth the thunder and the rain. I lasso the sunshine, and it warms the blood in my veins. When no one is looking, I talk with the flowers and the trees. I tell them my secrets, and they listen to me. When no one is looking, I wanna kiss God. When no one is looking, So I lift up my own hand to my mouth, and I lift up your sweet hand to my mouth. When no one is looking at me, what is looking through me can see, and I feel everything, and everything it feels me when I'm all alone in my own sweet home. I hear the silence calling me home. No one is looking. Thank you.
Oh man, that's amazing. And there's only one way I can salute you, Karen. Thanks for being our appetizer and our dessert. All right. Well, as Dusty said, should you ever forget who you are, we're here for you. And one way we can do that is by praying for you. So we do have on our website at trianglecsl.org a button on the homepage, and you click on that button, fill in the request form, and all of the practitioners and ministers will be praying that pray for you. And if you want to salute somebody, you can always dedicate flowers to anyone for anything. So contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. For those who are staying for the second half of the leadership training, we will set out a few tables for fellowship before we start around noon. If you brought something for lunch or if you need to run out to get something, then please go and join us. Plan to join us for our monthly birthday celebration lunch bunch on Sunday, July 2nd, following the service. We still don't know where we're going, but it'll be someplace fabulous, I'm sure. What? Oh, Neomon. Okay, it turns out we do know where it's going. Neomon. This is a save the date announcement for our annual Durham Bulls game experience. Yes, we will once again gather again to meet at the ballpark and attend a Bulls game. The date is Friday, July 28th. More to come as we get closer to the date. All right, now, this is the last opportunity for our June, we're in June? Yes, June affirmations. So this is the last time to give it with the power and intention that will tie the knot and make these things become true. So everyone, please stand. And this is a call and response. So I go first. All right. Self-care is an integral part of my human experience. I know that my evolution depends on my commitment to it. I embrace it as a daily practice in order to live my life to the fullest. I mindfully fill my cup to support myself and everyone else in my life. Self care invites me to learn how to surf through the waves of grief to joy. Joy is a God quality that I arrived on the planet with. I have the ability to hold it even in the midst of grief and uncertainty. Today, I choose to embrace joy and allow a wave of peace to wash over me. And so it is. All right, you can be seated. You can close your eyes for one last prayer of benediction. Oh, man. And I, I really feel myself overflowing like that reservoir that Dusty talked about. Ah, and because we are all connected, I know that that is true of everyone who participated today, that we have all been washed clean by the waters of divine inspiration. And we have all benefited from that pot of gold that we found at the other end of our Reverend Rainbow. So I know that this is what is real. I know that these are not just feelings, that they are intentions, that they are higher states of being. It is us stepping more fully into that transcendent, abundant infiniteness of our divine natures. And so there is no doubt in my mind that we go forth this week and we let things flow. We step fully into the abundance of the season of summer. And we are as connected as this flow in and of each other, like how my meditation flowed so well to Dusty's talk, and Dusty's talk flowed so well to Karen's singing. That really there is this connection, there is this unity. We are one universal mind. And that is who we are going to be more fully going forward from today. And this is a blessing, not just for me, not just for you, not just for our community, because the rising waters lift all boats. And so today has been a transformative day. I anticipate with excitement the manifestation of our higher vibrations in the weeks and months to come. And just turn it over to the law that always says yes with our words. And so it is.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you to all the volunteers, Ava, Martin, Heather, the lovely Karen Daly, Carol Cross, everybody that participated in the facilitation of this service. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a really magnificent week. I love you all.